What's up, everybody? Today I want to talk about a few things that have been going on this month that I think kind of might be related, and in which case could add up to basically a see something, say something situation. Now, what triggered this for me was Israel closing all of its embassies worldwide early on October 13th. Now, it could be nothing, but the timing to me just seems a little too suspicious. Let me explain. Now, if we go back to April 4th, 2018, Trump had ordered the removal of troops from Syria initially. And if you also remember, it had the same exact reaction. Everyone freaked out. They all begged them to stay. And obviously, endless war is big business, amongst other things. So what happened right after that? On April 7th, 2018, a perfectly timed chemical weapons attack occurs, proving all the pundits right and forcing Trump's hand. The withdrawal is canceled. We're staying in Syria. So also after that, Israel then responded on April 9th, striking a Syrian airbase. So within a week of Trump announcing the withdrawal from Syria, everything once again turned into a shit show. Now, QAnon had assured us that there's only delayed the withdrawal of troops from Syria at the time, which he was now obviously proven right. Now, he had said that military assets on the ground were actually locked out of Ground Zero referring to where the chemical weapons attack had occurred. Which is particularly interesting because there was a lot of chatter around the time that this was a staged event, that there wasn't actually an attack, which is also, if you remember, what got us into Syria in the first place with a different chemical weapons attack that also a lot of people had said was staged. Q then added that the Israel strike harmed the ability to prove the events. So basically that was the end of that. Now flash forward to October 13th of 2019, Trump again announces the withdrawal of troops from Syria. This time again met with the same resistance. He's slammed by the press and Congress, but this time he sticks to his guns, and he's decimated in the news, even blamed for battle between the Turks and the Kurds, which has been going on since the Big Bang. I mean, holy crap. Now, it's just around this time that Trump then negotiates a ceasefire between the Turks and the Kurds. And so happens that Nancy Pelosi makes an emergency trip to the Middle East. No, that's not shady at all. Even despite the fact that her brother literally just died. You think she'd be in grief and want to go home to deal with that? No, she has to go to the Middle East, which led some anons to postulate that this is exactly how Trump had pinned down al-Baghdadi's location. Now think about it. With ISIS being completely cut off, someone would have to go to al-Baghdadi in person to give him the news and to plan whatever is going to go on next in this little farce. It was now revealed that Trump actually gave the order to strike him the same week Nancy Pelosi was in the Middle East. What a coincidence. So now, as we all know famously, they go in and al-Baghdadi is taken out like a dog, much to the chagrin of the Washington Post that refers to him as an austere religious scholar. I mean, if that's not the shadiest thing I've ever heard, then I don't know what is. Now, also, Trump had mentioned that the dog, he had posted a picture of the dog and said that it was declassified, but the name wasn't declassified. Now, this led a lot of people to think of Senator McCain, who QAnon referred to as No Name, because they don't say his name because he was such a terrible person behind the scenes, and who died right before National Dog Day. Now, if you remember, Q had posted a picture of McCain saying, "Oh, return to the news," and then he died. He had posted it on July 25th, and he died on August 25th at the exact time to the minute of that post, July 25th. Now, this led a lot of people to believe that he was, in fact, executed for treason. Now, there are two Freudian slips that actually back this up. Here's one from Kasich.
The other thing is, when you look at the Congress, though, it's like 24 hours since John McCain was put to death. John McCain was put to death.
And now here's one recently from his daughter.
Sitting senators, and you're talking about Congress people, Maxine Waters, Mitt Romney, Adam Schiff, Bernie Sanders, President Obama, the Clintons, my father, you can't kill him again, but whatever. It's my father, you can't kill him again.
Now make of those what you will. And you say treason, why would he be tried for treason? Well, if you look at this picture here from 2013, you will see Senator McCain pictured with al-Baghdadi himself. Or this picture, where he is also pictured with al-Baghdadi, right around the time ISIS was formed. Now, of course, he had since grown a beard, but if you look at these two pictures compared to each other, that's clearly al-Baghdadi, the head of ISIS, with McCain right at his formations. So you do the math. You don't have to be a scholar to figure that one out. So now as the news does its typical spin, i.e. tax cuts for everyone. Oh my God, Trump's helping the rich. Peace talks with North Korea. He's meeting with dictators. Evens out the Chinese tariffs. This is going to crush the farmers. Pulls the troops out of Syria. The Kurds are being slaughtered. Kills the leader of ISIS. Oh, will Baghdadi gone? A political battle is just beginning. Or Baghdadi is gone, but ISIS isn't dead yet and could be poised for a resurgence. I mean, it seems like they almost want a resurgence. So while they scramble to name his replacement, he's also taken out like a dog. So then what happens? Well, right in step with the first Syria fiasco in April of 2018 comes a move by Israel, where early October 30th, they suddenly shut down every single one of their embassies due to a strike. Now, if you remember, Q had also stated that they was saving Israel for last for a very specific reason not mentioned one time. I believe they are feeling that with the move in Syria, this ominous declaration is starting to loom heavy. Now, here's why their removal concerns me. I mean, first of all, it just seems like they know something we don't know. But back in about a 1 week period from the very end of September into the very beginning of October, there were 4 things that happened. Now, I'll start with the second one here with John Podesta's tweet, looking up at our 100-year-old Dawn Redwood. Thanks, Prince Harry. Which got everyone thinking of the 1984 movie Red Dawn, where the United States is invaded by commies. Now, as we watch the deep state flounder, I'd say a last-ditch effort like this is very much on the table. And of course, the United Nations, at the very least, is dying for a reason to invade the United States to, quote, save everyone from Trump. That's part of the reason why they're playing up this whole he's so terrible narrative. They have wanted to do to us what they've done in the European Union for decades now. They want to make the United States, Mexico, and Canada into a big nation state. Nation states are easier to control. It just furthers their plan for the New World Order. There was talk about a decade back about the Amero, kind of like the Euro. This has all been thrown around for a while now. And what's happening in Utah now with the UN kicking people out and saying, oh, this is property of the UN. Now, this is the same thing in New York. At least I could speak on that, is that when you are in the UN embassy in Manhattan, that's technically not a part of New York. The laws of the land, the laws of New York City, the laws of the United States do not apply there. Which I just think is absurd. I don't know why we just don't kick them out of the city already or kick them out of the United States. They have no jurisdiction here. But who are they? They're the continuation of the League of Nations. This is the grand plan for world government. Now, all that being said, Dawn Redwood, Red Dawn, I mean, it could be, but, it's a stretch. Obviously, we know they want to do that, but I don't know if they could even pull something like that off right now. Knock on wood, of course. But now, here comes the second one, where 2 days later, a new South Park episode about China airs, and the band is called Crimson Dawn. Now, full disclosure, this is my favorite. South Park is my absolute favorite show of all time. I still watch it. It still cracks me up, but I mean, it's been kind of heartbreaking watching the last couple seasons. They're ripping Trump. They're apologizing for global warming. They're playing up the quote-unquote detention centers at the border being like concentration camps. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. It's kind of weird, but whatever. But so now that's 2 days later. So that's 2. Within 2 days, John Podesta, who, is John Podesta, talking about Dawn Redwood. Now, these people are cryptic. This is how they communicate all the time with each other. Now, 2 days later, South Park, the band's name, Crimson Dawn. Crimson means red. I'm sure you guys all know that, obviously. And then the very next day, Barry Soetoro posts a picture of him and his husband watching the sunset. And if you look at the back of his hat, it has the kanji for dawn in a red circle. Red Dawn. That is 3 things within 4 days. Now, to take that one step further, a few days before John Podesta tweeted about the Dawn Redwood, the Washington State Attorney General sued the Trump administration, citing the Endangered Species Act, and says that, quote, Wolverines are candidates to become endangered species. Now, if anyone likes Red Dawn the way I do, I must have watched that 100 times as a kid. It was one of my favorite movies ever. The good guys who make it out to the mountains and fight back against the commies are called the Wolverines. So here you got a Democratic Attorney General telling Trump that the Wolverines are almost endangered. A few days later, you got John Podesta tweeting about a Dawn Redwood. Very next day, you have South Park coming out with an episode with a band called Crimson Dawn. And 2 days after that, you have Barry Soetoro posting a picture with the kanji for dawn in a red circle. Red Dawn. That's 4 things in 8 days. Followed by a highly suspicious reaction to President Trump ending a war which has gone on for 6 years more than originally billed, followed then by Israel calling all of their embassies home. That's an awful lot of red flags in a row. Now, does it mean something's definitely going to happen? I'm not sure. I'm sure white hats are thwarting things like this behind the scenes all the time. I mean, this is out and out war. It's spilling over. They can't even hide it anymore. The Washington Post posting things like this. And if this don't red pill your friends, then I don't know what could. If Trump taking out the leader of freaking ISIS, followed by everyone, no one being happy about it, literally every freaking newspaper still just attacking him, looking like a panicked mess. If that doesn't wake people up, then I don't know what will. But once again, Donald Trump comes through in the clutch. Has this been the best 3 years or what, man? How could you not love this? You got Trump exposing all these idiots. You got just doing great things for the country. The whole world's waking up. Everyone's getting hip to all their scams. I mean, this is just a monumental time in history. I mean, I know we're right in the middle of it, so it's kind of like, kind of like a fog and crazy right now. But one day we're going to look back on this and, man, just really smile. This is really awesome. And I just hope you guys have a great day. Where we go one, we go all.
And have you notified the congressional leaders about this Pelosi?
We've notified some.
McConnell?
Others are being notified now as I speak. We were going to notify them last night, but we decided not to do that because Washington leaks like I've never seen before. There's no country in the world that leaks like we do. And Washington is a leaking machine. And I told my people we will not notify them until our great people are out. Not just in, but out. I don't want to have them greeted with firepower like you wouldn't believe. So we were able to get in. It was top secret. It was kept. There were no leaks, no nothing. The only people that knew were the few people that I dealt with.
Inform Speaker Pelosi ahead of time?
No, I didn't. I didn't do that. I wanted to make sure this kept secret. I don't want to have men lost and women. I don't want to have people lost. Tonight was a great night for the United States and for the world. A brutal killer, one who has caused so much hardship and death, has violently been eliminated. He will never again harm another innocent man, woman, or child. He died like a dog. He died like a coward. The world is now a much safer place. He was a sick and depraved man, and now he's gone. Baghdadi was vicious and violent, and he died in a vicious and violent way as a coward, running and crying.